and it's all things fantasy. And today I'm bringing you a Week 13 Sunday main slate lineup building video. And I didn't do a preview. I didn't do a preview for this week. But I did like post a lot on Twitter. So make sure you're following me on Twitter. And I did kind of give out all my picks for each position, kind of two or three guys I was looking at for each position on Twitter. So make sure you follow my Twitter. Um, for sometimes I might just post just tweet out my picks instead of doing a video. Um, yeah, so that should be a link below in the description. So go ahead and check that out. But yeah, for this week, an interesting week. I think one thing there's some great tournaments on DraftKings. So if if you haven't already, go put yourself in a lot of tournaments because there are some great tournaments with a lot of great payouts this week. So definitely go check those out because this week is the last week to qualify for the World Championship. So yeah, there's definitely going to be some huge payouts this week and a lot of great tournaments to play in. Yeah, so just like usual, we're gonna make a cash lineup and then a tournament lineup, and so just quick go over some game stuff. The game I like the most is Detroit at New Orleans. I think this game is going to be super high scoring. I checked the line earlier in the week; it was at 54, which is pretty crazy. Usually the high scoring games are usually like 52, so 54 is pretty insane. And but I honestly expect this game to be well over 60 by days end. You know, we could see one of those 80-point totals like last year we saw with the Saints and the Giants. So I think that could be this game. There's some other concerns about some games, which is another reason I like this game in the dome. Because there's some other concerns about the Chicago game and one other game. What was the other game that was concerning? I forget. Oh, in the Green Bay game. I'm pretty sure it was the Green Bay game. Yeah. And the Green Bay game, I don't really love. I'm like pretty much not playing anybody from the Green Bay Houston game. Um, yeah, the really games I'm targeting are um, the Panthers and Seahawks, and then the Saints and the Lions game. It's mainly my targets going around, and a little bit of the Kansas City Atlanta game. But yeah, so let's get into it. And something else to note right now is that ownership. I don't think is going to be really spread out this week, just because like there's a lot of different great plays at each position. So just something to note. So yeah, for my cash game QB, I gotta go with Drew Brees. And then Drew Brees is another guy. Like I said, you can play in tournaments. Like there's not a, I'm not. It's not gonna be a huge deal if you're not playing um, Drew Brees in tournaments. But I'm gonna put him in my cash lineup, and then I'll go. I'm gonna put somebody else in my tournament lineup. But just know you can stack Drew Brees in the tournament lineup too. Um, so I'm gonna go with Brees here, and then cash. So um, I do love David Johnson and Le'Veon Bell, but not that the Giants' defense is like crazy good against the run. They're not that great, but they have shown some signs of like bettering their defense. And um, not that I don't have faith in Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell's a great player, but like I think this is a week definitely on DK where you can't get them both. Maybe on FanDuel you can, but on DK you cannot get them both. And I gotta go with David Johnson for my cash game running back. And I really do like Jordan Howard as well. Um, not, I mean, Gordon's okay. I mean, I think he could be a decent tournament play. Shady, Shady might be a decent play too. But like once you get past Howard's like Ajayi, I don't like that matchup. Spencer Ware hasn't been playing good. I like his matchup, but hasn't been playing good. Or hasn't been, not like playing good, but he hasn't been producing enough. Right, he hasn't been getting the workload. Freeman, I don't trust him. Ingram's hurt. Who knows how much he'll even play. Rawls, I don't know. I don't know if Rawls gonna get the amount of work that you know he needs to really produce. Rick's in a good matchup, but he's banged up. Williams won't even play. Martin, um, again, I'm questioning Martin's workload. I'm not confident in him to produce. Lamar Miller, same thing, and Green Bay Stevens is actually respectable. There's all tons of guys. Honestly, the really only guy I'm really looking at besides Howard was Dion Lewis, and you might see me plug him in at the flex spot. Receivers, I mean, yeah, I think people like the Giants' corners are actually pretty decent. I think if there's one team to like where it's like matchups doesn't really have a huge effect, it would be the Steelers at home, and that's what we have this week. So I definitely think you can trust Big Ben to Antonio if you want to go that way in a tournament. But for me, for cash, I'm not gonna go that route. And really, a lot of the high price guys I just don't love in any of these situations. But yeah, so sticking with the Breach stack, I'm going with Thomas. He's just been the most consistent option, and I mean, I think you can get away with Snead in like maybe a tournament. That could be a sneaky play. In Cooks, I mean, they're at home, and Cooks does do historically do really well at home. But Michael Thomas has been so consistent. I think he's the person you can trust the most in cash. And I really like Doug Baldwin, but I know my salary is going to be. It's really hard to fit a lot of these guys with the salary being the way it is. So I'm going to go. I know I wanted to play Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is a great value play this week. So I'm plugging him in. Go pick up my tight end because I know I want for tight end already. I want Vernon Davis. There's 3 tight ends I'm looking at now that Gronk and Reed are out. It's Graham, Eifert, and Davis, and I think Graham and Eifert are like too expensive to play in cash. If you want to fit, guys, if you don't want to, go really cheap with a receiver, which I think you can't. There's a certain point at receiver you just can't go any lower. There's just nobody there. So for a cash game team, I think you've got to go Vernon Davis. Where is he? He's 33. Yeah. You got to go Vernon Davis. I think he's going to get a ton of usage with Reed out, and I think he's just a great play in cash. And then defense. If you saw my tweets, I was just kind of saying I really don't like any defense too much. I like the Broncos defense because they're in a pretty good matchup against Blake Bortles and that awful offensive line, but they're expensive, and I'm trying to save as much money as possible. And I also mentioned I like the Ravens and the Dolphins are going to be really well scoring, and I kind of favor the Ravens because they're at home. So I'm going to put them in my lineup. Now you see that we're really crunched on salary here, and like I said before, you're going to see me put in Dion Lewis at my flex spot, which leaves me to 4,400, which is kind of concerning. I would like to see that a little bit higher, a little bit more money. I'll see what we can put in here. So Marvin Jones was a great play, I thought, but he just was recently listed as inactive for today, which really sucks. So I think a great play against that is going to be to go with Anquan Boldin. Golden Tate's also a good option too, but I think Boldin has he has the most red zone usually, red zone targets. I'm pretty sure on the team, so that's something to really look out for. I think against this Saints team, like I said, this can be a really high scoring game, and I'm gonna go with Boldin and kind of just rock with this lineup in cash. All right. So now I'm just gonna close out of this, or not close out of this. I'll just delete these guys, and then we'll put in a tournament lineup, which you'll probably see a lot of the same plays, honestly, because there's very few guys that I like this week that I'm gonna trust in my lineups. So we're gonna go Russ in my tournament lineup. Like I said, you can play Breeze, but I'm going just for like the video. I'm gonna go with Russell Wilson. So we're gonna kind of avoid the DJ Bell, just because I know they're gonna be some really highly owned, and we're gonna hope that we hit in similar spots. I think McCoy, Shady, and Melvin Gordon could be an interesting combo. So let's kind of put them in my lineups and see. Oops. Put them in my lineups and see what it looks like when we kind of roll through our lineup here. So I'm gonna go back to Tyreek Hill because he's like the value play of the week, and you gotta have at least a couple value plays in your lineup. We're gonna try to triple stack with Graham. Which is really gonna make us gonna have to go cheaper. And then doing that, I think we're gonna flip to Miami on the defensive side. And then flex. Let's see if we can go Dion Lewis. And then see what that leaves us. That should leave us a decent amount of salary left, 55. We get Sammy Watkins, who is gonna play. We have no idea how much usage he's gonna get, but he should be like a clear #1 target, and he could be in for a big day. I think it's a great tournament play. Cobb, I don't really love that much. Landry, I don't really love that much. Macklin's out. Inman, like I said, Inman and Snead Snead was a good play for tournaments. Inman's a guy I really do like, though. I'm just going to read the news real fast on Watkins. Oh, I remember seeing something that like his foot was hurting him in the week, and he like sat out of practice. So, I don't know. It's always hard to trust it. It is a good spot for a tournament because not many people are gonna be on him just because he hasn't really produced at all this year, and he's been hurt, and nobody really is gonna trust him. But for me, I'm gonna go with Inman. Just gonna think he's in a pretty good spot at home. Tampa Bay's defense I think their run defense is a lot better than their pass defense. I mean, their secondary looks really, really good against the Bears, but that's the Bears. You saw Jay Cutler just kind of float a pass up one time, and they could easily picked. I think there's a lot of recency bias saying that the Tampa Bay's secondary is so good when it's not that great. So I'm gonna trust Inman here. He's been playing pretty good. Benjamin's kind of like out at the #1 spot, and then Tyrell. Tyrell's injured, so you definitely want to. He's cleared. So yeah, definitely want to try to put it in. So I guess it's kind of the debate. Do I go Inman or Watkins? We're gonna go. Man, it's tough. I'm gonna go Sammy. Just hell, why not? I do have him in another lineup. So we're gonna go with Sammy Watkins for this lineup. Maybe I'll roll this out in the big the play action this week. That's pretty good prize pool. So those are my two lineups. My one cash, one tournament for this week. I hope you guys found that somewhat helpful. Hopefully I maybe cash one of these lineups and maybe take down a big prize. So I can do a lineup review for you guys. Maybe it'll be one of my other lineups. Who knows? But yeah, if I do decent, I'll try to do a lineup review, um, and try to do a preview for next week. We'll see. I do have a busy next week, but after that week, I should be doing some good, making a lot of content. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, I hope this helped. Good luck to you guys in week 13, and I'll see you in the next one.